How's it going, everybody? I am out in Westchester today, and I happened to come across not a contractor doing work, but somebody put a lawn sign on this customer's lawn. Let me see if I can switch this so you can kind of see it right there. And it's tree service. And so I want to see, obviously they're working in this area. They're pretty local. So I want to see, I can see their sign. Customers around here can see the sign, but does Google know that they actually work in this area? And so easiest way to do it is to search right from here. They obviously did work at this customer's home. So let's check to see if I put in tree service near me, does this company show up in the map pack? Now, if you're unfamiliar with the map pack, when you do a local search for a service, you're going to see a couple ads at the top, and then you're going to see what you call the map pack. There's a map and 3 Google business profiles. And we know that based on a lot of data, about 75% of the clicks for local service searches go to those 3 businesses inside the map pack. So it's a huge missed opportunity if your local business isn't there. So I want to see if this business is there. So we're going to search for tree service near me. Okay. Couple ads, and they're not running ads. Okay. And they're not in the map pack. Okay. So let's work backwards. Why aren't they showing up? And this isn't I'm not criticizing this business. What I'm saying is Google doesn't know enough about this business to feel comfortable to show them in the map pack. So what's the reason for that? Let's work backwards. And maybe this will help you if you're a home service contractor and you want to get into that map pack and start getting more calls and more clicks and more customers. That's the great place to be. So the first thing I like to do is I like to look at who is actually showing up in that map pack. And then we kind of work backwards. So let me take a look here. So we've got 3 businesses. I first look at the reviews. We've got 4.9, 4.9, 4.5. And how many reviews? 411, 212, and 339. So that's a good amount. For home service, that's a good amount. Let's look now at this company. I'm going to search them on Google Maps, and I'm going to search by their business name so it pulls up right away. Okay, cool. So they've got 4.5, okay, which there's already a 4.5 in the map pack, so they could definitely get in there, but they only have 84 reviews right now. So that's an outlier, right? If you have 411, 212, and 339, and then this one has 84, they're well below the average. So the first thing that I would do, let's pretend this company called me up and said, hey, Dave, we want to start showing up locally in the map pack, our website to show up. What would you do? This is what I would tell them. First things first, we would automate the review requests. So every time this company sends an invoice out to their customers, within 2 hours, it triggers a review request, automated. And we send it through email and through a text message. The reason we do it through both is emails can get lost. You know, I'm sure you're like me. You get hundreds of emails a week that you just wind up either not reading or just they end up in spam. So we don't want to risk them not seeing the review request. However, SMS has an open rate, meaning that they'll actually open up the text message and read it, of like 95%, 98%, something crazy. So we want to send an SMS, a text message, plus the email. So that's the first thing. We want to automate that. So within 2 hours of this customer paying the invoice, they get a text message and an email. Now, one of the things that we like to do is, I always tell clients, plant the seed. And what does that mean? The unique thing about home service contractors is you're face to face with the customer most of the time at the end of the job. You're doing a final walkthrough. You can tell that they're happy about the work you're doing. So what we want to do is plant the seed at that point. And what does that mean? It looks something like this. Hey, Mrs. Smith, we really appreciate you trusting us with your business. Reviews really do help our local business get found online. In about 2 hours, you're going to get an email and a text message requesting a review. If you wouldn't mind leaving us an honest review, it would really help our local business get found online. And Mrs. Smith's most likely going to say, oh, absolutely, I'd be happy to leave you a review. I'm really happy with the work you did. So what does that do? Planting the seed is a little bit of psychology in here. When Mrs. Smith then receives a text message and an email 2 hours later, she's going to have a hard time ignoring it because she remembers the conversation she had with you and said, sure, I'd be happy to leave a review. And here's the little secret. Nobody wants to feel like a liar. So when she sees that text, she's going to remember that she said, sure, and then she's just going to click and leave the review. Now, one of the things that this company could do is not only automate the reviews, the review requests, but also, and plant the seed, but also give some guardrails in the review request. Now, when people leave a review, a lot of reviews, 5-star reviews, sound like this. They were awesome, highly recommended. And sure, that's a 5-star review. It works. But it doesn't really give Google enough information. Let me tell you a little secret about Google. You could tell Google anything you want on your Google business profile. We do tree removal, we do stump grinding, any type of service. And we do it in Westchester, we do it in Chadsford and Downingtown. And Google's like, yeah, okay, we don't really believe you though. However, if Mrs. Smith leaves a review and she mentions that you removed a few trees from her property in Westchester, now Google's like, oh, okay, I guess they do actually perform that service and offer that service. So now when people in Westchester start searching for tree removal, guess what? They have a much better chance of showing up in that top 3 in the map pack. So how we handle this in a review request, you're not allowed to tell people what to say. And you don't want to do that. You want an honest review, right? But this is how we take care of it. We asked Mrs. Smith in the text message and the email if she could mention what we came out to do, where we came out to do it, and how did it go. Okay? So we would say something like this. Mrs. Smith, if you could mention in your review the service we performed, the city we performed it in, and how did we do? Now Mrs. Smith is going to mention the service, the location, and something about your customer service. And that's going to help your reviews skyrocket. Google puts a lot of emphasis on those reviews because think about it. On your Google business profile, that's the only spot that you don't have control over. You can request a review, but you can't tell people what to say. So that's one thing that I would do for this company. If they were to hire me, I would immediately start automating the review requests, and I would start planting the seed. Have their guys out in the field plant the seed so that Mrs. Smith isn't surprised when she gets a text message 2 hours later asking for a review. So that's the other thing. The one thing I noticed on their profile, on their Google business profile, is they haven't done an update since May of 2022. So that's been 4 years since they haven't done an update. Google rewards businesses that have consistent activity in the account. So regular reviews, regular updates. That would be another thing. One more thing that I would do for this business, if they were to reach out to me, I'd rework their business description. Now, Google gives you 750 characters to type out. And a lot of businesses, maybe they put 1 or 2 sentences, and that's a big missed opportunity. So with a business description, you want to mention your business name, your primary category. With this one, it's tree service because they do tree removals, they do landscaping, but tree service is their main service. I looked them up. You also want to mention your main location, where your business is located, but also where in the area do you want work? And they don't mention that at all in there. You want to also put in some sort of mission statement. It could just be a 1-sentence mission statement and then a call to action. They're missing all of that as well. Google will read that. Customers read it too. They definitely read the business description, but Google, their algorithm reads those business descriptions and they're looking for specific things, just like they're looking for specific things in the review. So everything kind of ties together. The more you can optimize that profile and the more you can get reviews that mention service and location, this company could get a lot more reviews. What did I say? 84 reviews. So they need an extra 100 reviews to even have a chance to show up around here, even though they're doing work around here. And their business location is not that far away. It's only about 6 miles. Easy enough to rank in this area. So those would be the 3 main things that I would tell this business to do if they wanted to actually show up when some people in the surrounding neighborhoods are searching for tree removal, tree service, things like that. Hopefully this was helpful, and I'll see you next time. Take care.